Why did you pick this place? Like, why did you choose building here in Toronto, this home, little red brick bungalow?
Okay, well, there's I guess a few reasons for that. The first reason, of course, is that my girlfriend lives very close by.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Actually, she's my fiance now,
Oh, nice.
4 years later.
Congratulations.
But anyway, so I was actually looking for a house in Toronto to do a project, something like this. I didn't know exactly what the project would be, a bungalow, and I got interested in it because it was a nice city lot, and my interest is in kind of like in trying to design for a typical family, typical home,
Right.
detached home in the city, and what are all the things that are sort of important to to pay attention to and not to pay attention to. So for example, with regard to when we talk about the windows and everything, I really wanted to try to get that balance between like having enough windows, having enough glass,
Right.
but not having too much. And like there's a trend, you see it in magazines and everywhere, where walls of glass are really like the cool thing, and walls of glass are great in like California, but in Canada walls of glass are not always the optimal. On the east side of the house, and we have a big opening, and that big opening speaks to the space and the connection between the inside and the outside. But on the other side of the house there's a different approach, which was more about like lighting the room in just the nice way with the right proportion and everything else, but not like also having enough wall to actually like, for example, energy performance is obviously a big deal for everybody, right? So, and that's also where the tilt and turn windows come into play. But basically the idea is that you don't necessarily need walls of glass to light up a room. You need just enough, and then you have walls that are properly insulated, and you have great performing windows like the tilt and turn, where you get a great seal, you get the benefits of being able to vent.
And people over that were involved with it, and you had 40 people in this room.
Yeah, we had a great
everything opened up, and it was comfortable.
And also, once again, performance-wise, like you open the windows and vent everything top and bottom, and you turn the fans on, and the house just cools down. So, like in the dead of winter and the dead of summer, you need to use heating and cooling to some degree, but hopefully, by the design of the windows, the configuration and the location and the number of windows and all that, that you can somewhat modulate the shoulder months and reduce the energy demands that way. So.
Oh, nice. Well, on a sound scale, we are in a pretty busy area, and you have a school across the road. How has it been that way?
Well, the acoustic performance of the windows and the wall is unbelievable. As a matter of fact, when we had our little gathering, some people actually commented on when they walked out the front door, they couldn't hear a thing.
Oh, really?
And some people like called me and said, we couldn't believe there was a party going on in your house.
Perfect.
And you couldn't hear a thing. And then it's the same from the street. So I know that another great thing about these windows is that the sealed units are designed acoustically, and that's huge. And like you can close up this house and actually you don't hear really anything from the street.
Perfect.
So,
Perfect for sleeping.